And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for another edition of That's a Bet podcast. You know who it is, your boy, Two T's, coming to you live from the Tab Studios. And guys, we are bringing you another sports betting 101 podcast. We are jumping into over unders, but you know I can't start an over under show without introducing the best co-host in all of podcast land. Y'all know him as Willie J or Willie Baby. But since Willie Baby is having a baby, what we got to call him, y'all say it with me. Willie Baby is in the building. What's good with you, Willie Baby?
Feeling good, man. Locked and loaded, ready to go for today. I'm in the action. I'm not gonna tell y'all what I'm in the action with, but I'm excited for today, man.
Yep, this is gonna be fun, man. I think this episode is actually. I'm very excited for this one. This is my wheelhouse in the sports betting world. I love over unders because you're just looking at action as far as are you going to score above this or are you going to go under this, and it makes it a lot of fun because who cares who wins in this scenario. But before we jump into it, you know what we do every show. Go and drop in your social media handle, man, so they can follow you on all platforms.
Group 13 Sports. Group 13 Sports. That's Instagram and Twitter.
Yep, Group 13 Sports for Willie J. You guys can follow me, 2Ts, at Pineapple Picks 2Ts. That's on Instagram and Twitter, at Pineapple Picks 2Ts. And make sure you guys are following the show at That's a Bet Podcast on Instagram. We'll be making a Twitter soon and on YouTube. Subscribe, like, and comment to all our videos. We would definitely appreciate the love, guys. So, all right, Willie J, with that being said, over unders, man, this one is this is my favorite, but it's pretty straightforward here. Kind of along with MoneyLine and the spreads, there's usually a third number listed when you look at like the betting odds, and that's right. The over under when you're looking at that whole ticker. So it's pretty much easy as it gets, Will. You look at that number and you decide if you think that total number that they have there is going to go over that total or under that total. Pretty easy, straightforward. And for me, like a quick example would be like football is very, very popular with over unders. So say, for instance, the Falcons and Saints, their over under total, the number you see on that ticker is 45. So you ask yourself, the book will ask you, do you want to go over 45 points scored between the Falcons and Saints in this particular matchup? Or do you want to go under that 45 total in this matchup? And kind of a quick tip, the public's money is very influential on this number in this line. That's one of the biggest things that I always notice. So the public normally tends to favor the over, just because think of your average person. If you're making your first bet ever in your life, you're gonna want to see more than 45 points scored, because why, Will? It's exciting. That's more action in the game, and it's just fun to see an over because you see a lot of points. But when in doubt, though, and I tell this all the time, when in doubt, fade the public and go under. And I would say me and Willie J have learned this lesson a lot in our time betting. So, Willie J, fill us in a little bit more kind of on the over under with your kind of viewpoints on it.
Yeah, I think you definitely want to do your research on over unders. You want to look at how many points these teams are averaging, per game, especially later on in the year when they have a lot of data to back up, these lines, right, or these numbers. And for me, you spoke a little bit about it earlier. The public, especially first-time bettors, recreational bettors, they're always going to bet, or for the most part, they're going to bet on the over unless the number is just glaring, right? Nobody wants to see a bunch of defense. It's just not exciting to watch. And even though I bet both sides, one of my favorite sayings that I always say is, life is too short to bet the under, man. But yep. Like I said, that's for, an entertainment value, right? But also, as far as the under and the over is concerned, I've noticed, especially with first half bets, usually the number, they don't just split it right down the middle when you split up the first half and the second half bets. Once you get to the first half, it's usually a little bit shaded past the normal pace you would be on for the total for the game, right? So you got to be careful when you're betting those overs and the unders as well. But for me, I've always been more on the over under. I've been more of a gut better type of guy than necessarily looking at the numbers, because teams can come out and be off in the first half and then you're screwed, right? Yep. So I like to look at how the teams play defense. I look at their averages, but at the end of the day, it's always a gut call for me when it comes to the over and under. And all I say is, you got to be able to count if you're going to do the over and under. You got to be able to add, subtract, look at what that will be on pace, as you're watching the game for the live betting, that type of deal. We'll get into live betting, later on down the road. But, over or under is pretty simple. You explained it pretty well.
Yep, gotcha. And just one last thing to kind of wrap that up in a bow. Um, the over under to me, Will, and I kind of want to see your opinion real quick. The over under to me is probably the most difficult, in my opinion, to actually research in some ways because, like you said, all the data can point towards a team that's like, for instance, in basketball, a team that has the most possessions. They get up and down the floor, they shoot the most threes. For instance, the Houston Rockets are one of the most volatile over/under teams historically with under D'Antoni, in a sense that if they come out and they're on fire, you literally can win 12, 13, 14 bets in a row with them going over because they play no defense. They shoot a lot of threes. But vice versa, if the other team is just off so bad and the Rockets come out off so bad, I mean, some of their over-unders have been like in the 230s and they end up the game at 201, like something crazy just because they're shooting the threes. So the research doesn't always tell you exactly how those games can come because rest has to go into it. There are a lot more factors when you look at over unders. I think that makes it harder that you have to research, but I love like digging and finding, those type of things. Do you think that's kind of your way of looking at it, Will, or you kind of see
Well,
it differently?
yeah, that's a perfect example. The over under it's not a blind bet at all. You also have to have some sort of knowledge and understanding of what you're looking at. And the Rockets is a perfect example. And the reason why I say that is because um, they have especially Mike D'Antoni as a coach. He was in the era with Steve Nash where it was, 7 seconds or less shooting. So he's got that reputation for getting a lot of shots up, threes or layups. That's what they do. It's about efficiency, right? But at the same time, he's been a chameleon. And what I
Yep.
mean is he's willing to change his style. That's what they did before. Well, yeah, the Rockets score a lot of points at times because they shoot a lot of threes, but you got to look at what you're seeing on the court. That is ISO ball city now in Houston,
Yep.
right? Lots of dribbling, dribble, screen. If nothing's there, if they can't get a layup, they'll kick it and pass it and let somebody else shoot it. So what I mean by that is if they happen to not come out and shoot, 35, 40% from three, you could be looking at a game going way under because
Way.
they're taking a lot of shots or, dribbling the hell out the ball, taking a lot of time off the clock, and then they're missing. And Houston has gotten a little bit better with defense. They're not playing great defense this year, but the year before they were playing great defense when they brought their defensive coach back. So, like you said, Houston is very volatile. They can go over with the best of them, but they will play a 99-93 game type of
Yep.
deal or, 102 to, 99 type of game. They will do that. So you got to pay attention and see exactly, you got to think to yourself, what type of offense does this team run? And do they play any defense, that kind of thing. So you got to pay attention, you got to know what your eyes are telling you, and then also take the knowledge that you can get from looking at numbers.
Yep, exactly. All right, guys. So to kind of wrap it up here, y'all know what I like to do. I'm like a professor teaching the class. I always want to kind of end it with the definition again of over under, and it's straightforward. Like I mentioned, guys, it is whether a team is going to go over the total that is on the board there or under. I mean, it's pretty simple. You'll have a number there. Usually it's 45, 46. Football, basketball, you see it in the 200s, somewhere along there. Will a team go over that number or under that number?
And
It
there
is,
will be vig on it too.
yes, there will be some juice. And there are instances where I've seen it up as high as minus 150 to win 100, and we've seen it plus 100 and all that kind of stuff. But will they score more or less that total that is on the
Together.
board Together, yes. That's two combined teams together. That's the key word. I'm glad Will said that. Together.
One more thing, and you can also, and you'll see it the more you dive into it, you can actually bet the over under on just an individual team's point output for the game,
Yeah.
under or over. You can do that as well.
Yep. You guys will see that too. But yeah, again, we'll, this one was a pretty straightforward one, like the spread and money line. But we definitely appreciate you guys tuning in, checking in. This has been another episode of That's a Bet Podcast, Sports Betting 101, over unders for two T's. That's Willie J. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you guys subscribe, follow, and comment on all of our videos and episodes. And we see you guys on the next show, man. Hey, episode 5. We'll be rolling through these things, man. We'll see you guys on the next pod. Hey, click that button over. Go ahead and listen to the next one with us, man. We'll see y'all. All right, peace.